Welcome, folks. First video with what I would call real content. What I want to do is introduce you guys to basic electricity. If you don't understand this, you're going to have a hard time not assembling things, because you can put things together, but understanding how they work. And understanding how they work is what's going to be critical for you to be able to be an effective troubleshooter. If you're getting into industrial electricity, working in a production facility, and you're the guy who goes and fixes machines that stop running, you have to understand how basic electricity works to be an effective troubleshooter. So there's two basic types of circuits. There's a series circuit, and there's a parallel circuit. Then there's another one called a combination, which has both in it, but you have to understand the series first. The series is what all circuits have to be converted into for you to understand all of the pieces and components of it, all of the numbers, if you will. And the basics part of this is understanding, and I've got these things written on the board right here for you guys to get introduced to it. I will tell you that some of these letter symbols that they're using don't make any sense, but if you're familiar with algebra, sometimes you're like, why are they putting letters in a doggone math problem? Well, it's the same thing here. So I'm going to get you guys introduced to this. The basics of this is Ohms and Watt's law, and how this works. And I'm going to go into these two pieces here in a second, but you have to understand what E, I, and R, and P, I, and E, what those things represent, okay? So E equals the volts. So here it's voltage, over here it's voltage. Those mean the same thing, okay? I, it can equal current or amps. They're both the same thing. They're synonymous. They're both interchangeable when you're using that in context, okay? And amps is short for amperes, but that's the measure of the amount of how hard the electricity is working, okay? R equals resistance, or it can mean ohms, or it can mean the omega symbol, which is the same thing. That's the symbology for resistance or ohms. Okay, if you look on resistors and stuff like that, big ones, they'll tell you how much resistance is in there. P equals power or watts, and that's how much work, and it's either being work that's being accomplished, or it's being converted into heat, which if you are familiar with an electric heater, they tell you how many watts it is. It's 1600 watts, it's 1800 watts. That's how much energy is being consumed, which is going to be converted to heat, which will be put out, which you'll enjoy on a nice, cold winter evening with an extra heater in the house. Okay. So again, E equals volts, I equals current or amps, both synonymous. R equals resistance, or it equals ohms, or it equals the omega symbol. And P equals power or watts. Okay. So this is the deciphering cryptology, if you will. This is how you're going to decipher what this is up here. Okay. Beauty of YouTube is I don't have to repeat this. You guys will be able to just go back and review the video, just back it up a little bit. So in Ohm's law, if you remember the term ear, that will help you remember to write this Ohm's law circle here. E, I, and R. So if you want to find out the information here, when we start doing the circuitry, you're going to have its voltage can be divided by the current to be able to find out what your resistance is. If you want to find out what the current is, you take the voltage and you divide that by the resistance. If you want to find out what the voltage is, you can take the current and the resistance and multiply those two, and it will tell you what that is right there. And the old trick is to put your thumb over the information you want to see, and it will give you the formula for what you need. Okay. With Watt's law, you have power, current, and resistance. With power, you can, if you want to find power, it's current times the voltage. If you want to find the voltage, it's the power divided by the current. If you want to find the current, it's power divided by the voltage. Okay. And I'm going to demonstrate a couple of pieces for you here. So let's say that we want to find out the volts, we don't know what that is, okay? But our current is 2 amps, and our resistance is, let's say it's 800, okay? So we're going to take current times resistance. So 2 times 800 is going to be 1600, okay? So our voltage in that one right there would be, so let's work this real quick. 800 times 2, bring our 2 zeros down, 1600, okay? And the way you can confirm this is you can sit here, remember, E divided by R is going to equal our current. So if we take 1600, clear this off. We take the 1600 and we divide that by our 2, we get our 800, which is what that number is right there. If we want to do it the opposite way, we can do the 1600 divided by 800, and that's going to be 2. Okay, so the one thing about the Ohm's law is you come up with a number. I refer to this, because we didn't know what this one was, as a suspect number. And until I confirm that, the other ways to make sure that that number is correct, I don't believe that it's true. You can take your 2 knowns and you can find out what your unknown is. Okay.